Hello, welcome to this live. Here I am every Monday. We have a live class, and today's going to be a special one. We're going to do a guided visualization, something that can help us connect to a sense of calm and peace, and that we can spread a little bit more light into the world. And I will add more information into the description after this live. I set it all up, and literally just as I was about to log on, there was an error and I had to do it all over again. So once this live is over, I will add in the description, different links and resources if you want to find out more. Though for today, we're going to do this guided visualization. And before we do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we can make things a little bit easier for ourselves when we're tuning into what's happening in the world, because there is a lot going on at the moment, and a lot of people are feeling very overwhelmed, feeling the heartbreak, feeling the sadness, feeling the frustration, feeling the anger, the injustice, the many different big emotions coming up for many people. And whilst it's important to know what's happening in the world and to be informed, it's also really important to really look after ourselves and our nervous system, and so that we can be a better support for those in need. And it's no point consuming everything if at the end of the day we feel completely burnt out, overwhelmed, and that we can't help other people and people who are more in need than us. So it's really important that we're mindful and we have these boundaries, that we can really pay attention to, okay, how can I be news informed and do it in a way that feels good? So those of you who know NLP, some of you watching might know NLP, some of you might not. Neuro-linguistic programming. This is what I'm trained in, and I've spent the last 11 years supporting people around the world with NLP, and it's a wonderful set of tools and techniques and different understanding of like how we can really understand ourselves and others, and like why we do what we do and what's behind certain patterns of thought or behavior. A very simple way to describe it, I like to see it somewhere in between coaching and hypnosis. So it's somewhere in the middle. There are many ways to describe NLP, but essentially it's neuro, working with the unconscious filters, linguistics, working with how we communicate to ourselves and others, and programming is all the tools and techniques. So that's just like a little side note. And in NLP, we have what we call the representational systems. And this is how, like, some people feel more drawn to like how things feel, the sensations. They're very kinesthetic. They like to learn through doing. They love to really be in the experience, and that's how they learn and how they really find things a lot easier. So the experience and the feelings and sensations are important for them. Some people are very what they see is the big one for them, and they can notice like all the colors and the shapes and the distinctions of that. Visuals create a big impact. Generally speaking, visuals create a big impact on many people, though some people find it more impactful than others. And then there are other people who are very in tune with what they hear, like the sounds and the voice, tone of voice, and the volume as well. So if they're listening to news stories loud, and there's, for example, they're hearing the heartbreak from different people going through suffering in the world, and they're hearing that voice, that can create a big impact. So of course we have, the majority of us, we have all those senses, and we can be impacted by all of those senses, and the more intense and the more intensity for all of those senses, it can make it even more impactful emotionally. Though sometimes there's like one or two of senses that are a little bit more strong in terms of like how it makes us feel. So for example, like someone who is very visual, they might find it a lot easier to actually read an article and not be so emotionally impacted by that, compared to watching footage, videos on social media, on the news. If it's something, if you're noticing that you're being very, like, getting really overwhelmed and really, like, finding it very challenging to see what's online in terms of news stories, that could be something that you do. So you read an article, black and white, and then you have the headlines, and then you can not be so heavily impacted by that. Or for some people, they prefer hearing the headlines on the radio compared to watching the news on TV. So these are just like little things to bear in mind. I just mentioned this now before we go into the guided visualization, because this is a really important thing to pay attention to. Like, how am I taking in the news? Like, what am I consuming? How am I taking it in? Is that beneficial for my well-being? And yes, we are in a very privileged situation to be able to choose. The majority of us are not actually in extreme circumstances, so we do have that privilege to choose. Though by making those choices and looking after our well-being, we can be a better support for others. So it's important, it's really important. So I mentioned that, just like a little side note. So today I want to talk about peace and connecting to that inner peace. After this live, I will pop in the description a couple of links to some podcast episodes that I've recorded a while back on this topic. Those of you who know my background will know that anxiety, panic attacks is something that I can talk a lot about. I've been through experiences with that in the past, and after experiencing weekly panic attacks on a regular basis many years ago, I learned a lot about anxiety, a lot about panic, a lot about that state of like overwhelm and too many things and lots going on, and not being able to function even in daily life. Like, even going to the shops at one point to buy food was a very challenging and overwhelming situation for me. Thankfully, I was able to move through that and let that go, and that's a thing of the past. Though this is something that is so common, and I bring it up because, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this guided visualization today, is because so many people are experiencing this, and especially as everything is heating up on the planet in terms of violence and wars and conflicts, and not just with what's going on, with what's covered in the mainstream news. There are many things that are happening around the world that we're not even told about on a daily basis, because, well, there could be many reasons, but there are many things happening, and sometimes the focus is on like one or two areas of the world, and those areas are important, and we need to be aware of what's going on, though that there is a lot happening, and a lot of people are feeling this heaviness, and why is everything so dark? Like, why is everything so heavy? Why is everything so, can't we just all get along? I wrote a post about it a while back, and I was saying that so many of us are feeling this heartbreak, and we're feeling this heartbreak and this sadness because we know deep within our hearts that this is not the way, and that we can do so much better as humanity, and that we remember, on some level, we remember that deeper thread that connects everyone and everything. So it's coming back to that, and this is a practice. This is a practice with all of the opinions and perspectives and blame and shame and everything that's happening online and in the world. It's a practice of remembering our humanity, our shared humanity. And it's our shared humanity and that remembrance of the shared humanity and that thread that lies within everyone that connects all of us. That is what will help create a change. That's the important part to remember, that connectedness. So that's something I want to bring into the guided visualization. So that's enough talking, and let's get right into it and make sure that you're in a comfortable position, that you are not driving, that you're not operating any machinery. Like I have to say this in the beginning just to make sure that you're in a position that you can sit back, relax, or lie down and away from distractions, and that you can just take this moment for you. And when you take this moment for you, you're actually taking this moment for humanity as well. So just take a deep breath in and out. Inhale and exhale. And as you breathe in and out, your eyes will gently want to close if they haven't done so already. Notice how with every breath, every inhale and exhale, your muscles soften, your jaw softens, your breath deepens. You sink a little bit deeper into the chair that you're sat on or whatever you're lying on. Noticing that support that is always there. So often we go through life forgetting that the ground, the earth, Mother Earth is always holding us. Bringing the awareness down to our feet, down to the contact that we have with the floor. Almost as if there are these hands holding us, the hands of Mother Earth, and we're just being held right now. Continuing that inhale and exhale. And as you breathe out, just allow every exhale to be a little bit longer than the inhale. And notice what's starting to shift and change as you do that. And what I'd like you to do now is to imagine that you are in a beautiful place in nature, wherever that is, a place that you know of, or a place that's completely imaginary. A place that you feel a sense of peace, relaxation, that you notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel in this place, the colors, the shapes, the sounds, and the sensations. There's something about connecting with nature that helps us remember the original rhythm, the life within, where we've come from and what we're a part of. And as you're continuing that inhale and exhale, you start to notice that within your chest is this beautiful light, this spark of light within you that grows bigger and brighter with every breath. You might see this, you might feel this, you might simply just have that intention to connect to that light within you that shines out into the world, fills your whole body of light, from your head all the way to your toes, your arms, your legs. This light extending out. And as you're sat there in this beautiful place in nature, connecting to the breath, connecting to that light, you start to become aware of other lights around you, in the distance, nearby. Far away, all around, spreading out all across the world, the planet. Every single light represents another human. Every single light is another being. Sometimes the world can feel chaotic. Yet when we come back to this core, when we remember the core within each and every other, a deeper sense of peace, a deeper sense of comfort, a deeper sense of humanity, shared humanity can be felt. It's almost as if all of these lights create this one web across the planet. Completely covering the surface of the planet with all these threads of light, from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, from one being to the next being. Sometimes things can feel overwhelming or lonely. Though when we come back to this, when we come back to this perspective, we remember that we're part of one collective, that we're not alone, that we are walking on this planet with so many others. Back to the breath, that inhale and exhale, knowing that whenever there are times of darkness, whenever there are times of difficulty, challenge, suffering, pain, but there is still light. Sometimes we don't see it at first, but when we come back to the breath, We remember the shared humanity. We remember that so many beings on this planet want to connect, want to be at peace. It helps us in those moments of darkness. Coming back to that internal light, coming back to that life within, and remembering that internal light and that life within others. Taking this moment now to send some love, to send some of this light out into the world, into those areas where perhaps many are searching for the light. Back to the breath. That inhale and exhale is the anchor, is the guide. Is the point of remembrance. Breathing in that light and exhaling that light out into the world. Every little bit helps. The mind will create stories. The mind will wander. And when we come back into the body, back to the breath, and back to the awareness of this light, and the collective web of light, things can become easier. You are being held. You are being held. And you're connected with so many others. Just once again, notice that beautiful place in nature that you're in. Notice if anything's changed, anything looks different, or sounds different, or feels different from this perspective, the eternal light and the light that connects you with everyone else. And gently, gently letting go of that image of nature, that knowing that you can return any time that you wish. And once again, bringing your awareness to the chair that you're sat on, or the ground beneath you, whatever you're lying on. Feeling that support that has always been there, still holding you. as you reconnect, as you remember with every breath. Gently wiggling your toes, your fingers, stretching a little, gently moving your body. A lovely inhale and exhale, coming all the way back, opening your eyes, coming all the way back in your own time to here and now. Welcome. And you'll have the replay of this guided visualization that you can listen to anytime that you need a little top up. Though simply just connecting to that image. Every time you take that inhale and exhale, that there is this light, almost like this candlelight within you, and that there are many threads connecting that to all the other lights around, like humanity. We're all these sparks, all these lights, almost like the night sky, the stars, that you look up into the darkness and you see all these lights. And as the phrase says, that what is above as above as below, like humanity, we're that reflection of what's up there as well. So each and every human being on this planet, we are this star, this light. And sometimes people forget that. And when they forget that, they perhaps act in ways that are not of that highest expression of love and light. And it's about coming back to that. And the more we remember, the more that ripples out into society. And it's not important thing to mention is that it's not about only love and light and and just wanting to only be in love and light. It's important that, though it's not the only thing, it's also very, very important to notice emotions if they come up, if there's heartbreak, if there's sadness, if there's anger, if there's all these things coming up. It's important to acknowledge that as well. So if you want more support with emotions, I have podcast episodes on that. I will link them in the description after this live. And it's about noticing, being aware and allowing ourselves to feel and experience whatever emotions are there, and then returning. This is the thing, like life is a meditation. It's this returning, like in meditation, we don't just sit there and like clear the mind. It's this constant awareness and acceptance of those thoughts that come and go. And it's this returning, whether that's back to the breath, whether that's back to the mantra, whether that's back to whatever you're focused on, a candle or something you're looking at. And in life, it's the same thing. Life is a meditation. So as we're going through life, as we're moving through life, we get caught up with to-do lists and this, that, and the other, and all these different things that are happening. And we have these moments, these little opportunities where we have those moments of coming back to that point of focus, back to the breath, back to that life, back to that light within, back to the heart, back to the original beat here. And it's almost as if that's our mantra in life. So there can be all these distractions, all these things, chaos, everything happening, but we have this mantra, we have this thing to come back to that can carry us forward in times where we find things challenging. Coming back to that. So if you're here for the guided visualization, I'd love to hear in the comment section your experience of that, and if you have any prayers for the world, that you can feel free to pop them in the comment section. It'll be lovely to fill the comment section with your prayers and your wishes for the planet. And feel free to share this with other ones. Like if you found this useful, share this with other people. And there'll be more. I have a couple of events coming up. I'll link them all in the description as well. So there's an online workshop on the 8th of November, and then there's a couple of in-person events coming up as well near Barcelona. So if you're in this area, then feel free to join in. And if you only take away one thing from this, I really just like welcome you to really come back to the breath. Come back to the breath. And yes, sometimes there can be thoughts of like feeling guilty when there's people suffering, there's people dying, there's all sorts of things happening. But the more we can really truly honor and value and bring that deep gratitude to life and the life within us, the more we can influence the collective, and the more that we can really like the best thing we can do is not to waste our life. One of the best things we can do is not to waste our life. Because what a privilege we have to be able to be here and do this. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining for this very special guided visualization. And I'm here every Monday. So every Monday there's a class, and usually it's me talking and I'm sharing more practical tips and tools. Today was a special one. I felt that this was really needed with so much of what's been going on in the world, that it's really important to come back to this. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And thank you for coming back to that light within you, that spark of light that you are, and sharing that with the world. Much love.